Introduction for Lisa, who will be the MC. So Lisa Marshall is the professor and director of outreach at North Carolina, NC State, right?
Yeah.
North Carolina State, yeah. I get nervous every time we have to do this. But I really want to thank her and also Dr. Hayes and their team for coming out and having these workshops with us today, and I will turn the time over to her.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful. I'm so glad to see so many of you. We've been having a wonderful visit here to the area, and I know I'm going to come back with my husband and stay a little longer. And thank you for allowing us to come into this space. We've been enjoying it, and I'm so glad that you're all here for the workshop today. Right, and this is an opportunity for us to have some mutual learning and hear from you, your questions and your concerns, and for us to chat. And I'm so glad that there's a mix of individuals here, right? So whether we're talking about being in the nuclear industry or individuals that are community members, and I know they're one and the same thing as well, right? But then you've got sometimes some hats that you hold on to more than others, and then to see individuals that I've been crisscrossing the United States with, and to meet here as well, and then our usual team as well. So I'm kind of the warm-up act, so to speak, right? And what I wanted to chat a little bit about is what exactly is collaboration-based siting and the consortia themselves, and what are we all about? So the Department of Energy awarded or put out this call for proposal looking at how then do we engage with communities and hear about their particular concerns and questions. And they awarded 12 of them, and we were one of them, and led by North Carolina State University, the Nuclear Engineering Department in particular. And we then, in collaborations with Native Nuclear and Mothers for Nuclear as well, we got together and then we kind of strategized of exactly what we wanted to do and what does it mean to have engagement with community. So there are 12 of them, and we're all crisscrossing the United States and meeting with different communities, whether you're looking at urban or rural, in the heart, kind of on the East Coast, and then the heart on the West Coast, and looking at Midwest, et cetera, right? So we're crisscrossing the United States, getting these various, I'm gonna move over here, so that I'm not standing right in the middle for you all, sorry about that. And so far for the number of consortia, we're looking at over 250 engagements, right? And we are going to then take that information back, distill it a bit, and share that with the Department of Energy. So, what we are doing versus what we're not doing. We are in collaboration. We want to hear from you, right? Also, we're telling our personal journeys through the various organizations as well. And then a little bit of technical information in a narrative form, right? So that then an understanding of some of the science behind, and that to make sure that we're all on the same page as we continue to have these conversations. What we are not doing is bringing nuclear waste or spent fuel to your home. That's not what we're all about. We're gathering information, getting feedback, engaging in dialogue. We're not building a new nuclear reactor in this area. That's not what we're all about, right? And we're definitely not here to make you pro-nuclear, right? We are not all about that. We are about a conversation in particular. And a way of capturing some of the information that you want to share with us, we're doing that not only through conversation, but then also through surveys, right? So the first survey, kind of that pre to the chat about journeys, and then the technical, and then kind of the small group workshops, is to do the first survey. So there's an email that was sent to all of you. If we can ask you to and the subject line would say first serving, for you to complete now. Or if you didn't walk with your iPhone or your smartphone or your tablet or whatever, we've got paper copies. So if you just put up your hand, we can get those to you as well.
So check your emails.
Check your emails. Or we can do the paper copy.
Survey.
There are a couple more of these at different points, right? In addition to you talking, right, and giving us feedback. So I see a hand up here.
So this is one of the emails we got this morning. He hasn't.
You have a, so you have, let's see what it says. Okay, so, one more here, let's get the paper copy. Yeah.
Two, four more.
Fair enough.
And it's 50 years size. Check us out.
He gets around.
Yeah, you know, we're sort of in a company back.
We were in Washington a few months back. We picked our workshop. And I see university with someone else when I first met him.
And then for the solution, anyone having any issues with the survey? I know what to say.
And I got an invitation for the file. And so this is their sort of system. And so we're trying to see if we can chapters have been really long time. Kennedy was here and it was
We are going to continue on, unless you tell me that you need a little bit more time.
They want
All is good?
Just wrapped up.
they want to basically go
Wonderful. All right, so we're going to continue on. So what do we have in store today? We're going to spend a good chunk of the morning and a little bit of the afternoon together, right? So this is what the agenda looks like, kind of the welcome and the introduction. We want to know who's sitting at each of these tables, so you get to interact with each other and know who else is in the room, so to speak. And then we're going to do a kind of an overview of what collaboration, a little bit more, right, about collaboration-based citing. And then you're going to have some journeys, personal journeys by Mothers Who Nuclear and Nuclear Native. questions and answers so you can probe them a little bit more after their particular presentations. And then we're gonna have a break, right? A stretch break, coffee break, tea break, you name it, we're gonna have a break. And then we'll continue, and Dr. Hayes is gonna come up from North Carolina State University to give a presentation, and there's questions and a Q&A section as well. And then lunch and discussion, right? We just want to continue to have that momentum as we're going through the day for us to chat together. And then some closing remarks, and then invitations to stay and continue the conversation a little bit more. I know that, you know, we're at the beginning of the day, and we're probably saying, oh my gosh, this is gonna be an entire day, right? But by the time we get to lunchtime, you're gonna go, where did all the time go? So we're gonna hang around and we'll continue that conversation. So a little bit about each, and introduce the team. And I was introduced, I just wanted to say a little bit more about myself. I've been in the industry, engineering education for 24 years or so. I don't know when that happened. I am a native of Trinidad in the Caribbean. My parents were in Canada for schooling, and they eventually sent for me, right? I was having a grand old time with my grandparents, but they eventually sent for me, and started that career thinking about, hey, I want to be in education, and at what levels, right? So I got the bug to stay at higher education, and that's where I stayed. And then I met my husband, we came down to North Carolina, and I knew I wanted to stay in that industry, and interviewed at one of the universities, and it went well. And before I know it, I blinked and it was 10 years, I blinked again, it was 24 years. But there's something about working with students, especially first year students, and helping with that transition and just seeing them develop their own identity as a professional. And I love that. And my background is energy geography. So what's in that portfolio and the decision making around what goes into that portfolio for various communities is at the heart of what I do. And thus, you know, when you've got these various opportunities that come along through the Department of Energy, it made sense, right? So that's what I did. So it's a little bit more about me and how I kind of fit into this larger area. We have others in the audience, and if I remember correctly, Scott.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, we'll have a chance to introduce a little bit more.
Right, but I wanted to point out that Scott.
I'm Scott.
And he'll talk a little bit more about himself. And then right next to him is,
Hi, I'm Ryan Pickering. Thanks so much for having us.
and then we've got Rob Hayes, who's behind you here. And then we've got Heather here on the other side, and Thursday, right over there. And then we've got individuals that are part of the team, kind of behind the scenes, but they're really not really behind the scenes. They shouldn't be. And so we have
Samantha.
I'm Samantha Brands with Native Nuclear.
at Native Nuclear, and
I'm Asmine, I'm from NC State, working in Dr. Hayes group.
so he's one of our graduate students here.
That's right.
Wonderful. All right, so you met the team, you'll find out a little bit more about them as we go along. So we want to find out who's in the audience. Who are you? Right? So let's go right. If you want to say your name, are you from the immediate area, or did you travel to this session? And anything else you wanted to say about yourself?
Hi, I'm Bond. I'm with Westmore chapter, and
I'm going to give you this so that we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Bonsai, and I'm from Mexican Water, and I'm part of the Mexican Water chapter. And I'm here traveling with my mother, so I'm just sitting in and listening in.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Good morning, my name is Martha Sagboy. I'm the chapter president for Mexican Water Chapter, about 30 miles south across the river around here. And we're part of the Navajo Nation tribe. And I live on the Arizona side, but our community is right in the middle of the designated uranium haul route coming through here and we're trying to voice our concerns and issues, so thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Good morning, I'm Jerry Gamber. I'm the Executive Director of CERTA. Southeastern Regional Development Agency. It's one of the 7 association of governments. How did I do that? It's one of the 7 association of governments in here. We cover Carbon, Emory, Grand, and San Juan. I'm magic. I can make things go on.
Yes, that one's working now.
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon Kang. I work for a company called Envoy Public Labs. I'm traveling from Atlanta, Georgia, but I've been doing some work with Jerry and Jade here in the state of Utah, so.
Thanks.
Scott Wolford and Lynn Mayer, we're with the Utah Inland Port Authority. We have entered into a partnership with San Juan County. We have a port project area here in the county, and we're super excited to be here.
Well, you know me, I'm Tally Henson, I'm the Economic Development Manager for San Juan County. Hey.
I got, oh, you got it.
He stole
Do
it.
the 20.
No.
That's
She did it on
fantastic.
purpose.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alta Isaac, and I am from Navajo Mountain, a place over that way towards west. It takes about 3 hours of my travel to come here, so I just wanted to hear about what is this whole thing about. So, and then my work position is called the Community Service Coordinator under the Navajo Nation. So I've been with the nation for over 17 years working for them.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yep, we're hearing you.
I'm Mary Benali. I'm from the local area just across the river on the Navajo Utah Reservation. And I was an educator, and most of my life I advocated for environment. So that's why I'm here. I want to know what this end product is all about.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tara Benali, and this is my second day joining this group to have this discussion. This is my mom, Mary. I reside on the south side of here, about 15 miles as well. Gosh, what is my title? First off, I think I'm just more of a constituent to my leadership in the area. I was born and raised here in southern San Juan County. My interests are in a lot of what the community needs right now. There's been a lot of concerns around the uranium transport. There's been a lot of concerns around housing, disenfranchisement where voting is concerned. And so a lot of those I took on, went to work for nonprofit organizations, for conservationists, for that are nonprofit organizations as well. So my work is well-rounded. I started out in construction from when I first got out of high school. I wanted to be a civil engineer, but kind of quit college and decided to get certified with Job Corps, then became construction. Came back to Salt Lake Valley, joined the union, and worked in construction until I was about, 2016. I had the honor and privilege of working with the Utah Navajo Trust Fund and helping to build homes within the 7 chapters here on the Navajo Nation. But since then, I've been involved in a lot of different areas. I've really want to see something happen for my communities right now. And I've taken the initiative to do so. I've started to work with the university to help put some air monitors on the local schools in the area, especially around where the uranium transport is. I'm also planning on working on reaching out to individuals from my community that I know that I've worked with either at gas refineries or the copper mine or the gold mines in Nevada, to see if they can step up and take the position of being a first responder along this uranium transport route, because it is a big concern. We have a fatality rate that has risen just this year alone around the 4 construction sites in the area, the road construction site, and then with their uranium transport and just other that are coming through this area. And so those are some of the biggest concerns that I've heard from my community members. And so those are some of the things that I'm currently working on addressing to help address some of those issues as well. Thank you.
Hi, Ben Muelstein. I live in Monticello, but I work for Blanding City. I'm the community development director there. And just here representing Blanding, I guess.
Hi, my name is Caden Kulo. I'm with the City of Monticello. I'm the city manager up there, and just excited to be here and learn a little bit more today.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Britt Hornsby. I'm with Bluff Town Council, and yeah, just excited to hear what people have to say and try to express my understanding of our community's concerns about nuclear energy and waste in the area. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Malia Collins. I work for the town of Bluff, and I'm also a planning and zoning commissioner.
We're doing tag team with the mics.
I'll stand up because I'm kind of short and I want to be able to see everybody. My name is Sylvia Stubbs. I'm one of the San Juan County Commissioners, and I want to welcome you to our county. San Juan County is the biggest county in area in the state of Utah. During the summertime, I counted all the school buses we have in order to serve this area. We have around 100 school buses in the area where they're being served during this service during this summertime. I represent from Blanding, which is about 20 miles north of here, all the way to the border of Arizona, Navajo Mountain. And we don't have a road that goes straight there, so we have to go through Arizona to come down. And I'm originally from Argentina, in case you wonder how come I talk a little bit different. I came many, many years to San Juan County with my husband. He was a missionary to this area. And before he asked me to marry him, he wanted to show me where he wanted to live. Because I came from a very, very big city of millions of people. And so we came, and we both educators. We worked for the college in Blanding, and we served many Mary was one of our students at the college, and we have many students. And for me, as I traveled to the reservation, getting to know, seeing what they had done with their education. I have many of them, they came with no high school diploma, and now they have master's degrees in education. They are returning to the reservation after have work outside the area. And they're looking for, they even want permanent address so they can get the Amazon packages, you know. And so it has been a wonderful reward to see their progress, not only on themselves but their families. That education have become an important part of their life. As a county commissioner, we work among two nations, the Navajo Nation, and also part of the United States rules. And so we all have to be respectful of the laws of the Navajo Nation, and we trying to work in a capacity. There's not many things we can do as far, because we don't have, for instance, I got a call from a senior center in Navajo Mountain that we're having a backup with their sewage. The director was on the way to take people to appointments, and she calls the commissioner's house. We have a backup sewage. Can you do something for us? Well, I tried to, it was the weekend by the time I got her message, and trying to figure out, we have, as a county, we don't have the funds to help them, trying to find help, and so it's a long process. First, even if we have the money to help them, trying to get somebody to go to Navajo Mountain to do the job and then dispose of the waste another area. So it's very complicated. I think one of the most rewarding things for me, having lived in San Juan County and work with the people of San Juan County. I'm the only Argentina here. I feel like a little link between multiple cultures. that we have, that I work with. But I grew to love the beauty of the county. My husband, he will point out the different things, and to me, I just miss the fountains and the, all the stuff, but, I grew to love. And what makes San Juan beautiful is the people, it's the different cultures that we have, and I think that's what makes it. And now I can see the beauty, different times of the day, the sun hits those beautiful red rocks. It creates a beauty every hour is something different. So I grew up to love that. And anyway, quickly I want to say something that maybe that contribute with energy. I was able to into a cooperation with the college and county, create a program where students can learn about the rare earth minerals and different things and we have multiple classes this summer with students from the Navajo Reservation that came, and we got to go with some members of Energy Fuel and other people to watch how they were learning. And they said things like, now we can go tell mom, grandma that the phone uses this and that. And it was very exciting. And so, welcome back and thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Logan Shumway. I'm from Blanding. I grew up in Blanding. I work for Energy Fuels and White Mesa Mill. I'm excited to have a conversation today and see where we end up today.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, good morning. My name is Garen Palmer. I also grew up in Blanding and I work for Energy Fuels as well. I'm the radiation safety officer. So good to be here today and have a discussion with everyone.
Hi, good morning. My name is Carly Salisbury. I grew up in Logan, Utah, but I work for a regional nonprofit that's called the Rural Community Assistance Corporation, and currently we are partnering with the San Juan County Economic Development Department to conduct some economic development, small business developments. So, glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in this exercise. Sometimes we go to workshops and we don't get to introduce ourselves, and so just say a little bit of what's important to you and what you want to share with everyone else. So I'm happy that we took that time to do that, right? So we know who we are and we get to know each other a little bit more during this session. So I'm just gonna kind of paint a picture, so to speak, with some information about where we currently stand, right? When we look at energy production, we have a number of different sources, and depending on what part of the nation we're in, and the same thing happens globally, right? We have a different energy mix, so to speak. Within the United States, you're looking at 19.9, you could round up to 20, 19.7, 19. Right, and et cetera, when we look at nuclear as an energy source. So we're at about 20%. And then when we look at low carbon emission energy sources, we see that nuclear jumps to about 47% of our energy usage, or part of the energy mix, right? And what exactly are we talking about when we talk about this fuel? You're very familiar from this area with uranium mining, and the end product of the uranium fuel cycle is the beginning of the nuclear fuel cycle. And we're utilizing, uranium, you're looking at 0.7% naturally occurring. So if I were to go outside and dig up, a sample and analyze that, I will find uranium in that mix anywhere in the United States, right? We're taking that as the end product of uranium mining, and we're enriching it anywhere from 5 to 6% for energy production. We're making it into these pellets that are about the top of your pinky. Some individuals talk about gummy bears, about that particular size. And there are a series of those pellets that go into fuel assemblies, and we've got some that will pass around as well. So it really is about the size of my top of the pinky. And it goes into the rods, and then a series of those rods are put together to make the assembly, and then you have the assembly is our core of our particular reactor. It will be in production, and every 18 to 24 months we'll shuffle the fuel, we'll put in some new fresh fuel, so to speak, and then the spent fuel will go into the spent fuel pools, and they may stay there for a very long period of time, or depending on the different utility, they'll eventually move it onto dry cask storage that will be, as you can see here, on a particular slab on their facility, right? So these are some of the images to go along with what I just finished saying. Now, the status of used fuel within the United States, there are 70 sites around the United States, and the map here is just kind of showing you where they are. It's decentralized, right? So they are either on sites where you have utilities, or there are other sites that are close by. And this is federally owned. Right now, the different utilities are managing it, but ultimately the federal government will take final possession thereof. And we're looking to see and talk a little bit more about interim storage. So these are some of what the facilities look like, interim spent fuel storage installations. We have a number of acronyms, IPSI, for them. So this is what it looks like, right? So you take them out of the spent fuel pools, you put them in the dry cask storage canisters, and they sit on this concrete slab, so to speak. And you can do public tours of these particular facilities. I wanted to say a little bit more about kind of the history of nuclear fuel in the United States. So you're looking back at the 40s and 50s with the ushering in of the utilization. And in particular, President Eisenhower making that famous speech to the UN about atoms for peace, that we can find better uses for the technology on the civilian side, and that kind of ushered in the use of the technology for power production. And we've been doing that, kind of moving along and utilizing and building reactors and adding it to the grid for electrical consumption. Then you're looking at later on in the 1970s, 1977, where we're looking at exploration of, well, what are we going to do on the back end? How are we going to store the spent fuel? A little while later, early 80s, you're looking at the Nuclear Waste Policy Act that comes into existence. And then we're looking longer term, looking at 7 to 8 sites around the United States as a national repository, that permanent site for our spent fuel. Now, of that, Yucca Mountain was designated as that national repository that we will have. And that recommendation went to federal government early 2000s. And then we see the construction of Yucca Mountain as that national repository. And it was halted in 2009-2010 timeframe. Later on, you're also finding that, okay, we're halting that, but we still have the issue of what are we going to do with our spent fuel? There was a commission that was formed, the Blue Ribbon Commission, and that happened in the late 2000s, 2010s, around 2010 or so, to talk through what we need to do with that fuel and how we will approach engagement with various communities. So, keeping that in mind, you start to see the ushering in and kind of looking at what other nations are doing in that idea of consent-based siting. So involving communities early on in having a discussion about the fuel cycle, how we utilize it, and then also how we will store the byproducts of energy production. There is that first draft of that consent-based siting or collaboration-based siting that happens in 2017. And then by the time we get to 2023, we're looking at a call for a number of groups to volunteer to engage with various communities around interim storage of spent fuel. All the while, when I came into the industry, there were 104 nuclear reactors that were representing that 20% of our energy mix. And right now we're sitting at 94 operating reactors, giving us that power that we use, both on the energy side and then also some of the non-energy applications of the technologies. So, that's a particular program. What we're trying to do is to engage broadly, right? So not just stay in our particular areas and get feedback, but travel throughout the United States and collect the questions and the concerns and hear from you. We're also developing a process of how we do that into the future, that community engagement piece. And we want to help communities to kind of talk through what nuclear can or cannot bring to their various communities, and whether on the back end, if there is interest in interim storage. Not to say that that particular community is committing to it, but to understand and have a discussion and a dialogue and answer some of those questions. And then more importantly, out of this whole process, is to build trust, right? That we can ask questions, the hard questions, and it's a safe space that we can make comments about the entire process and how we move forward accordingly. So, we are in the first of the stages where we're just building capacity, right? Capacity building, that engagement component. And I say just, but that's the most important part in my opinion, right? That we're able to talk candidly and openly about the process itself. So we have engaged with leading stakeholders, whether we're talking about government or we're looking at community leaders accordingly, right? And we want that feedback. And developing strategies on how then we do that better to gain an understanding. So why are we here in Utah? Well, when you look at the whole chain of the actual product that is then used to create the electricity, to create that energy, it comes from uranium. And uranium is mined in this particular area, right? And there are mines, and then there are also mills in this area. So it makes sense that we come into this area to hear from you about the process. You're a key component in kind of the national enterprise around energy production. And there's much that we can learn from what is working and not working well, and then maybe not working as well, right? So, I'm gonna stop talking, and you're gonna hear from the various groups. You're gonna see me come in and out. I'd like to think that this is a safe space for us to really ask those questions and make those comments, so that then we have more of a dialogue, and we can talk through, when we talk about the nuclear fuel cycle, what are your opinions? What are your questions around this? So, up next, and just before I say that, behind this divider, there is tea, coffee, and something, some fruit still, and I'm sure there's still some breakfast burritos. Please continue to get up and enjoy those, or else we'll have to eat all of them, right? And then the washrooms are just outside this door. Women's on the left side and men's on the right side. I would like to call up Scott from Native Nuclear.